the movie, the format of this movie is completely different than your ordinary superhero movie. You could tell what the director was trying to convey. You could tell that he was going for that deeper, type of movie where it really makes you think. The movie has a lot of philosophical aspects that I don't think a lot of people notice it. At least, I think that if you're smart, now I know some people might say, "Well, what is your definition of intelligent?" I don't know. Just if you're intelligent enough, you would know what I'm talking about when I say it has a lot of philosophical statements within the movie, and a lot of the theme of the movie is based on morality, and it kind of really makes you question, exactly what is to be moral. Okay, let's say there was a civilization, right, where the civilization adopted a anarchy-based society, meaning that everybody is free, everybody is truly free, and everybody truly has freedom, and there are no governments. Now, a lot of the superheroes movie, there's a lot of, civilization is a big part of it. There is a definite right and wrong. There is a definite justice and injustice, etc., etc. This Joker, at least, and they got a lot. The Joker of this movie was taken, I could tell, was taken a lot from the novel written by Frank Miller, which is called The Dark Knight. I mean, you could see the influence, but you could tell that with this Joker, it's basically a statement which says what a villain, because he's not really super, but what a villain would be like if civilization was, if there was no civilization, but if the people were ruled under anarchy. And you got to see that a lot. Also, the dialogue within the movie was amazing. It really makes you question, in my opinion, makes you question, exactly what is good and evil. What is justice. And should vengeance be justified? You know what I mean? I know that the way in which I'm explaining it sounds weird towards people that haven't seen the movie, but once you do, you will understand. I'm not gonna try to spoil it at all. I'm not. But although if I don't, it is hard for me to explain. Just a lot of unexpected things. Like okay, usually I'll explain this. Usually within a superhero movie, you see how a villain becomes a villain. And you know exactly when it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? With this one, the format is completely different. I'll try not to spoil it. The Joker, he already is the Joker, right? There's no, his story is not really told, and it just starts off with him, basically. With him, basically. And again, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it just starts off with him. That's all I gotta say. How can I say this without spoiling it? Wow, this is really hard, you guys. Now, we all know, and hopefully you guys do know this, that Aaron Eckhart plays Harvey Dent. And if you guys don't know that Harvey Dent is Two-Face, which is, another villain of Batman, it's weird because they have these two guys, and at the start of the movie, you already know who the Joker is, And then throughout the movie, you kind of start to, and I'm not saying this in a very I'm not saying this in a homosexual way, but you kind of start to fall in love. You start to actually connect with Harvey Dent, before he becomes Two-Face. And the way in which he becomes Two-Face, you kind of feel for him, like you kind of understand him, you kind of relate to him. And when I was seeing this movie, I was asking myself, if that had happened to me, would I have gone that far? Would I have turned into such a monster? Now keep in mind that this character, this Harvey Dent character, is all about good and justice and all this, and the way in which he goes from point A to point Z, complete opposite, and yet he's the character itself somehow finds a middle within that. Again, you got to see the movie to understand what I'm talking about here. Batman himself has a lot of character. You really do feel for him because he is at odds, and he has, in my opinion, 3 battles. Three emotional battles. Whether man, how can I say this without spoiling it? I know that I'm repeating that a lot, but I'm trying not to spoil it for you guys. One battle is more, with the girl, which is not the same actress, with the female protagonist. The second is Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent start to develop this friendship, and you see it, and you're like, okay, well, they become friends, blah blah. So that's one, and then the third is not only with himself, whether he will stand for justice or stand for the opposite, but because the Joker he's there, he's such a psychopath, and he really gets within his head. He gets within Batman's head a lot, and it seems like it really makes him question. Even now, there's a point in this movie, and I'm not going to spoil it, where civilians themselves civilians and criminals are placed in a situation where they have to choose also whether they will make a decision that will affect one another. Man, I try my best not to spoil it, and I'm not spoiling it at all, but see the movie and you guys know what I'm talking about, and you'd be surprised. The ending of the movie, I was surprised. I was like, wow, it took a different turn. Just, it's not a stereotypical superhero movie. It's not at all. And I think that this movie, and even though I'm not a big follower of the Oscars and whatever, that's just not me. This movie deserves it. And like The Amazing Atheist said, if they don't, it's really because people are so used to, like he said, the norm. They're so used to this and blah blah blah. But everything that you thought within this movie, that you thought is good and evil, and it just makes you question morality. It makes you question this civilization itself. Because we all know that corruption hits everywhere, and even within anarchy, of course, people that don't really know what anarchy is are going to say, of course, anarchy is chaos, blah blah blah. But man, such a wonderful movie. I just can't wait for the third. I'm wondering who's going to be the villain for the third, and I think that's a little bit of a spoiler. But just see the movie and you guys know what I'm talking about. Man, I hope I didn't make this video too long. But anyways, peace. Captain Minority. That's all.